Have you ever dreamed of moving to a lakeside town that feels straight up out of a Hallmark movie? Today, I am going to show you exactly that. We are going to take a walk down Water Street in Excelsior, Minnesota, and here you are going to find charming shops, fantastic lakeside dining, and small town vibes colliding with that urban appeal. Excelsior is one of my favorite spots in the metro, guys. It is seated right on the shores of Lake Minnetonka and has tons to offer. We're going to get into it right now. So I just like to get into the maps a little bit on these videos just to set it up for you guys and give you a bit of frame of reference on where whatever it is we are looking at is. So Minneapolis, as we always start out, that's kind of our home base. We have St. Paul over here. We're talking about Excelsior today, which is going to be on the south shore of Minnetonka. So Lake Minnetonka is going to be due west of Minneapolis. So Excelsior is going to be right down here on the south shore of Lake Minnetonka. Excelsior is awesome. It is absolutely one of my favorite places in the metro to hang out, to spend time, to go and eat. I would absolutely live there if I could find the right place. And what makes it so good is, as you can see, it is lake life. It is built right around the water. Today we are going to go for a walk right down the main street, which is Water Street. So we're going to go right down the heart, show you guys a little bit about what's happening in the town as we work our way through there. Excelsior, just if you're keeping track of these things or if you are considering a move, so Excelsior is going to be about 15 miles southwest from downtown Minneapolis. So you can take Highway 7. I almost actually drew on it right there. You've got multiple ways to take up 494, cut in on 394. The other thing I just like to point out with these videos is proximity to MSP Airport. So again, Excelsior is going to be here. MSP Airport's right over here, and this is actually a sneaky easy drive. All you got to do is work your way in on Highway 7, get on 494 south, and you're right there. 35 minutes, maybe a little bit more with traffic. So that's just a little bit about where Excelsior is. Let's get into this town, show you what it's all about. This is absolutely one of the best spots in the metro, guys. And hey, if this is your first time stopping by our channel, thank you very much for stopping in. My name is Chris. I have issues with smiling, but I promise I'm happy. My business partner, Trevor, the team, we like to get out into communities like Excelsior, show you guys some real estate, show you what's going on. So if you're thinking about making a move, it doesn't matter if it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. All of our information is below. Be sure to subscribe, bang that bell. That way we can keep you up to date on the real estate, on the market, and all the cool things that are happening around the area. So it's a beautiful day. Excelsior is one of my absolute most favorite spots around the Twin Cities. Let's get into it. I am out in Excelsior Commons in lovely Excelsior, Minnesota. And if you get out to Excelsior, this is definitely a place you are going to want to stop and check out. The Commons is definitely one of the jewels of Excelsior. It's about a 13-acre park right on the shores of lovely Lake Minnetonka. As you can see, it's got a bandshell, which you can see set up behind me. It's got multiple public beaches. It's got a ball field. It's got just about everything you could want from a park perspective. There is some, of course, very nice real estate immediately across the lake and on the other side of the Commons. But the Commons is really a great staging area for Lake Minnetonka itself. The Port of Excelsior, as it's affectionately known, on the southern part of Lake Minnetonka is going to be maybe be the premier access point to this fantastic lake. And there's no shortage of things to do, from historic Water Street, which we're going to take a walk down. Fantastic real estate. There's lots of super cool bars, restaurants, things like that. Excelsior really does a very good job of blending the old with the new. You will find quaint little bed and breakfasts, antique shops, coffee shops, very small town feel, very walkable. The whole town itself has something like 2,300 residents only, so it's not a real big place. But again, it really does create a very small town feel and sense of community in Excelsior. So we're going to get after it and check out a few of these other things that Excelsior has to offer and go from there. So you can see behind me, we have some of these tour boats. Lady of the Lake, Paradise Cruises, Alan Alma's has been around for a long time. But you can rent one of these boats family gathering, group of friends, business event. You can also find smaller operations, smaller charters. But I would highly recommend, if you've never been out on the lake, get out on one of these boats, tour around. You can get a dinner cruise, something like that. Take some friends, have some drinks, and just putz around the lake. It's a fantastic way to get out and get familiar with the lake. So highly recommend that. And if you're in Excelsior, and we're gonna see if we can get this all in one take. I'm feeling bold today. So just a few feet forward from the boat rental, and it looks like they're closed, which was too bad because maybe they would have given me some free ice cream. But behind me you have Sebastian Joe's, little train car ice cream station. So you will find a few other Sebastian Joe's in the Twin Cities. If you like ice cream, this is your jam. I am an ice cream aficionado. I am an ice cream snob, and you cannot go wrong there. So you could do a lot worse than get the family out, come down, kick around at the Commons, whether it's doing some kind of event, taking a boat cruise, and wrapping it up with some ice cream from Sebastian Joe's. Here we covered Excelsior Commons, which is back that way in the waterfront. Now we're gonna go that way, which is right down Water Street. Water Street is basically the historic downtown of Excelsior. It's where all the shops, the restaurants, it's the place to be. And then we're gonna do something a little different today. I'm gonna see if I can get crazy. We're gonna try and get this all in one take. This is not terribly scripted. The idea is just to take you for a walk down Main Street in Excelsior with me. I'm going to show you what I see, tell you about some cool points, hopefully think of enough things to talk to you about to keep this video interesting. So off we go. All right, so first place I'm going to point out to you guys as soon as I get across the street is going to be right here. So Haskell's has been on this corner forever. Outdoor seating, great place. It's a place where people will come, grab a casual bite to eat, sit outside, and watch the relatively slow pace of life pass you by in Excelsior. So that's going to be right down on the waterfront. And we're going to work our way up just a couple blocks. One place that's worth mentioning, I'll get it in another video. It's not going to be in this one, but that's going to be Maynard's. And Maynard's is a big old bar and restaurant right on the waterfront behind me. Very popular spot, especially in the summer. It's one of these places where if you've got a boat on the lake or if you got a house on the lake, people will take their boat. You can tie right up at the restaurant with your boat, hop out, have some food, have some drinks, mingle with your fellow lake people, hop back in your boat, and off you go. So Maynard's definitely gets banging in the summer. Pretty fun place to be. So I already mentioned I'm an ice cream snob. I prefer ice cream aficionado. But we are now passing ice cream option number 2 in Excelsior. This is Licks, and I'm not gonna lie, I have not been in there. As an ice cream aficionado, I probably should, but I can tell you every Friday and Saturday night I'm down here, and we are down here a lot on the weekends. There is a line outside the door in that place. So we are at this point about a block in, and just as we move through, just take a look at the shops and just notice the architectural styles. Merchants have their things out in the street. Very small town feel to it, which is, for me personally, one of the reasons I really like Excelsior. So the second block here we're on now is going to have a few of the restaurants that I really like, so we will point those out here as we go by. Excelsior does a really nice job with their main street. There's regular trees, some pretty big ones. Got the old school street lights, which I really like. Believe it or not, this place is actually also really pretty in Christmas, if there is such a thing as pretty in freezing. So on my left here is going to be Yumi's sushi place. One of my favorite spots to go in the metro for some sushi. Super good spot. We hit up Yumi's all the time. I'm going to pass by a couple little more boutique style shops here before we hit the next restaurant I'm going to show you. And that is going to be Coalition, which is coming up right here on my left. Again, you're going to notice all these places, they've got outdoor seating right on the street. It's just that kind of environment, that kind of town. Great place for drinks, American fare. All these places around happy hour time, things like that, they're all going to get real busy. So just keep that in mind. So we're working our way down the street. We've got an old appliance store. Coming up next, Leopold's Antiques. This has been here forever. Next after that is going to be Excelsior Barbers. Again, just small town, kind of quirky, super cool little shops all up and down the street. Passing by a Masonic temple here on our left at the moment. We're going to go a few more blocks up And then we'll probably turn it down and come back down the other side of the street. Clothing store, you're going to find a lot of interesting clothing boutiques, things of that nature. If you've watched my video, you know I'm not a huge fashion aficionado and clothes person, but if you like poking around stores like that, you're going to love it out here. Last restaurant, or I shouldn't say last, but one of the few last on this side of the street is going to be Olive's Pizza and Bar. That's right here on my left. That's mainly going to be like Neapolitan style pizza and drinks. Again, happy hour, busy as can be every single weekend. All right. So at this point, we are about 2.5 blocks off the lake. We will probably go up one more block before we turn the sucker around. Just behind me here, the building with the blue awning, that is going to be Excelsior Brewing. I'm not sure if it's just the Twin Cities or the whole country, but there seems to have been an explosion in breweries around here in the past 4 to 5 years. They're all pretty cool. They all offer something. Excelsior Brewing, they'll have live music almost every night of the weekend, and it offers everything else an Excelsior offers. It offers lake access. You can pull your boat into Excelsior, walk up to Excelsior Brewing, grab a beer, grab a bite, hop back on. If you want something a little bit more food-wise, right next door, this is a newer place. This is called Leyline. Think of this as an upscale American bistro. Huge patio area, again, outdoor seating. Another cool little spot, which there is absolutely no shortage of in this town to check out. So we're gonna go up just a little bit further here, and then I'm gonna get dangerous. I'm gonna try and cross this street without getting run over. Although that probably would give me some eyeballs. We're getting near the end of the interesting part of Water Street. It does carry on a little bit further up ahead, but it comes more commercial, more stuff that's not going to be so interesting or unique to Excelsior. If you carry on a little further, there's going to be a Kowalski's. I've touched on Kowalski's in some of my other videos. Kowalski's is like Minnesota's own Whole Foods, only it's more expensive, if you can believe that. But it's got really high quality food. Same kind of store, organics, really high quality food. They're going to have a hot food section where you can grab some food, lots of grab and go options. I mean, I love Kowalski's. The only thing I do not love about it is the price. So that is as far as we are going to go up this way. And now we're going to wait for a little break in the traffic, and we're going to hop across the street just to take you guys kind of back down the other side of the street. And that's all really I'm trying to do, is just give you guys a little bit of a walk around town here to give you a feel of what it's like in Excelsior, Minnesota. All right, so we are at this point headed down back towards the lake from where we came. You're going to see we're going to pass a bunch of other very interesting looking shops. Excelsior Mill. Another one of these cool shops. This is the kind of place, again, you can come spend the afternoon, park, walk up and down Main Street. Plenty of food and drink options, lots of stuff to look at. So we will touch on, if you are living in Excelsior, odds are you are not working in Excelsior. Excelsior is going to be about 20 minutes straight west of downtown Minneapolis, and it's a pretty easy commute. So unless you own one of these quirky, cool little boutiques or restaurants or things like that, odds are very good you are not working here and you're hopping on a freeway to get to work, but you're probably only going to be on the road for 15 to 20 minutes. A little bit more Excelsior by the numbers. So I always do research for these videos, and a big website I use is niche.com. And according to niche.com, median home value for Excelsior was $840,000, steep. I did a little digging on my own local MLS this morning, and as of April 2025, my local MLS had median home value for April 2025 as just over $1 million. So whether it's 850 or $1 million, the point is either way, real estate in Excelsior is not cheap. Last time I checked, they weren't making any more, so I don't think those prices are going anywhere. Pretty cool spot right behind me, Red Bench Bakery. Another one of these kind of cool, quirky, small town feeling little shops that you might want to stop in and check out if you're in the area. Great place to grab a baked good and your coffee and do just what we're doing, walk down the street. This side of the street is going to be mainly boutiques. We've got a lot of clothing boutiques. We're about to pass by one called Ooh La La. We've got Tavor, Pip and Pal, a bunch of them you're going to see here as we go passing by. But again, you can see the flowers. I mean, Excelsior knows what they have. They know they're a lake town, and they do a very good job of setting themselves up accordingly to maximize that. So we're going to come by Aveda Teeth Whitening Hotel Excelsior. If you need a place to stay in Excelsior, you've got the lovely hotel, of course. Another interesting thing about Excelsior, so it is almost 50-50 homeowners and renters. There are a lot of rentals in Excelsior just because it's such a desirable place to be. You'll find a lot of Airbnbs, things like that. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting nugget that Excelsior is almost half homeowners and it is also almost half renters. Super cool coffee shop right here. And we are now about a block and a half off the lake, heading back towards where we started here. Running company, again, small town, little shops up and down the street everywhere we go. Excelsior does something, I believe it's in September every year, called Apple Days. That is going to be down in the Excelsior Commons where we started. But that's like a big small town festival. Lots of arts, games, lots of stuff for kids, kind of a big town party. They will do their 4th of July celebration down from Excelsior Commons as well. They'll really harness and use that waterfront for just about anything and everything they can think of. And why wouldn't you if you had access to it? So we've got one more block to go here. And we're going to be back up to where we started. Man, it is a beautiful day too. I'll tell you what, we are flirting with 90. And for mid-May in Minnesota, we don't flirt with 90 too often. Minnesota is one of these lovely states where one day you'll have your AC on and the next day you'll need to turn your heater back on. So Minnesota has many great things to offer, including Excelsior, but one of the downsides can be a schizophrenic feeling climate at times. So we're about to come up on Lagos Tacos. That's going to be right here on my left. Relatively cheap place, easy place to grab some food, grab some tacos, grab a bite to eat, and get right back to it. And you're going to see here in a moment, I'm going to turn the camera back around and we are just about to where we started. So that's going to be our walk down Water Street in Excelsior, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. There's more to show you, as you can imagine. We're going to have other videos on Excelsior, but just wanted to kind of dip our toes in the pool, give you a feel for what this town is like. So we've got 3 pieces of real estate we're going to check out at varying price points, none of them cheap, but wanted to get into that, give you guys an idea of what fits your budget, or what might work for your budget, I should say, in Excelsior. So we're going to drive through a few neighborhoods and show you a few homes next. All right, so we are going to get out, check out a few pieces of real estate. So we're going to be at our first house here coming up on my right. This property just recently closed and sold. And I actually picked this one because I actually had this house listed myself about 4 years ago and sold it. And it just sold again recently. And that is going to be right here, which is 253 First Street in Excelsior. So a little bit about this home. Home was built in 1915. It is about 2,200 finished, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. This thing recently sold and closed at $819,000. That puts the price per square foot on this somewhere, don't quote me math wizards, but somewhere right around $366 per square foot. So it's expensive. All right, guys, we are at home number 2 in lovely Excelsior. Gonna hop up in price point and change style of homes quite a bit here with this one. And you'll notice that in Excelsior, you've got brand new multi-million-dollar new builds. You've got tiny old little things that have been completely renovated and everything in between. So our next property of interest is going to be coming up here, right here on my right. This home was built in 1916. It's about 4,300 square feet, 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, $2.1 million, which puts this guy, I believe, right around $490 per square foot. And this one is actually on the Excelsior Historical Registry as well. So if you're going to buy a home like this, you need to be aware of things like that before you start making changes inside the home. So again, pretty cool little house. I'm just going to walk out in the middle of the street, and these are the streets in Excelsior. They're quiet. There's big trees. There's very few or very little through traffic. So again, as I already talked about, it just ties into that small town feel. I love it. So we saved the biggest and the baddest for last, of course. So just interesting note, in the town of Excelsior proper, there is 27 homes actually that have lakeshore, actually on Lake Minnetonka. So we're gonna hit on one of those here just to show you the last piece of real estate. And the good news is, my friends, this one is actively for sale. So if you have $6.5 million that you're looking to invest, I got a home just for you. So this here was built in 1960. This is a 4-bed, 7-bath, 6,000, nearly 7,000 square feet. I believe this guy is sitting here at $987 per square foot, almost $1,000 per square foot. But what you're getting is you're getting one of 27 homes on the lake in Excelsior. So you're getting the value of Lake Minnetonka, which is massive already, but you are also getting the value of being in the town of Excelsior, which is, I mean, frankly, it's one of the coolest spots on the lake, maybe in Minnesota. All right, guys, I think that is going to be a wrap for our tour of Excelsior, Minnesota today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are thinking of moving to Minnetonka, if you are thinking of moving to Edina, Bloomington, Eden Prairie, Wayzata, any of these places I have just found, Excelsior is one of those places that is not on the radar as much. And as we've seen today, it is a fantastic place that has a lot to offer for sure. If you haven't done so already, subscribe below. We'd love to have you. Love to keep you up to date on what's happening in these places like Excelsior and these other communities around Minneapolis and St. Paul. I'll tell you what, it is almost 90 degrees. You probably can't see it on the camera, but that water down there today looks crystal clear. I am real tempted to jump in, but we don't need a trespassing ticket. So my name is Chris. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you again real soon.